Hey everyone, I'm Tosh from the Cars Garage. Today I'll be reading my little sister Tessa a car story. Tessa, are you as excited as I am?
I'm so excited!
What story are we reading today?
Deputy Mater!
You're right, Deputy Mater. Let's jump in and see what Mater and his pals are up to today. Disney Pixar Cars, Deputy Mater. The morning air in Radiator Springs felt wonderful as Sally looked out from her motel. She hoped for another busy day of customers. Suddenly, a noisy blur of green and blue whizzed by. It was Boost and Wingo, followed by DJ playing loud, thumpy music. "Slow down," Sally called out to them. "You are disrupting the solitude of the town." But the speeding pranksters were long gone. Sally quietly rolled over to Flo's V8 Cafe for some breakfast when she saw Fillmore talking with Sheriff. Fillmore was asking for an official definition of what the blinking yellow light meant. Sheriff admitted that the light had been blinking for so long he had forgotten why it was even there. "Good morning, fellas," said Sally. "Where is the rest of Radiator Springs this morning?" "I think we're the first ones awake, Sally," replied Sheriff. He enjoyed getting up early and beating the crowd to Flo's. Sally decided to tell Sheriff about the speeders. "Those cars move through here so fast, it wakes the tractors and stirs up dust everywhere," she pointed out. "One time, they even drove right over Red's flower bed." "I know, Sally," said Sheriff, "but I'm having a hard time keeping up with them. They don't exactly observe the speed limit after all." Then Fillmore had a thought. "Why don't we get you some help, man?" he suggested. "You could deputize some citizens and they can assist you." "What a terrific idea!" exclaimed Sally. "But who should we ask?" Just then, a friendly voice whistled out down Main Street. My, you are looking pretty as ever, Miss Sally." It was Mater, and there was something different about him this morning. "Hi there, Mater. What did you do with your door? It's painted white," exclaimed Sally. "Oh, shoot. I was asking Remote if he could help cover my rustiest spot, and he had the wrong color paint in the sprayer thing. But I don't mind." "You just gave me an idea, Mater," said Sally as she looked at Mater's white door. "How do you feel about law enforcement?" "Well, it's okay, I guess," Mater replied, "as long as the law don't mind being enforced." "Enforced, Mater. I'm talking about you helping out Sheriff and all of us. I'm talking about you doing your part to keep the peace in Radiator Springs." As everyone gathered around, Sally explained how Mater could be Sheriff's head deputy and keep a watch over Main Street, and Mater could decide who would be on his team. "Can I ask Sarge and Miss Lizzie?" Mater inquired. "You can ask anyone you want," promised Sally. "Then in that case, I want to ask you too, Miss Sally." That afternoon, in the Radiator Springs courthouse, Sheriff proclaimed Mater an honorary Radiator Springs deputy as Doc witnessed the event. Then Mater read his list of recruits. He chose Sarge, Lizzie, Sally, and Lightning McQueen to help him. Following the ceremony, the new members headed over single file to Ramon's body shop for their deputy paint jobs. Ramon gave everyone an official Radiator Springs shield symbol for their doors to let folks know they were deputies. Flo had brought oil for Mater's team so they would be ready for duty. Afterwards, the crew headed to their posts. Lightning kept an eye on the intersection with the blinking yellow light. Sally looked after all the local businesses. Lizzie listened for anything unusual happening on the streets. And Sarge used his long-range binoculars to monitor the interstate from Main Street. Everything seemed under control. Then Lizzie heard something in the distance. "Heads up, deputies!" she cried out. "Incoming!" shouted Sarge. "The noise is getting louder," observed Lightning. And then with the most confident stride, Mater rolled right into the middle of Main Street and parked himself, just as a familiar, noisy blur came to a halt inches away. "Hello, pranksters, we meet again," said Mater quietly. Facing him were Boost, Wingo, DJ, and Snotrod, all huffing and puffing from racing so fast. Mater continued, "We're pleased you like our town, but would you please respect our rules? The speed limit here is much lower than you're going, and it's getting mighty hard for us to enjoy the peace and quiet around here." Mater finished and looked sternly at the swift scoundrels. Then Wingo spoke. "We saw a sign that said 66, sir, and we thought we were going the right speed," he explained. Mater listened politely to the explanation, and then gestured to the blinking yellow light hanging over the intersection. "What's that for?" asked DJ. "No one is for certain," said Mater, "so I'm deciding here and now to make it the slow down light. When you see it, you just remember to keep it cool on the accelerator, and everything will be all right. You got that?" The pranksters all nodded. They agreed they could go fast on the interstate, but they would go slower when they reached the town. "I bet you guys could use some oil," said Flo, as she passed around some fresh cans. "Anyone who likes Radiator Springs as much as we all do deserves a homemade treat. Go ahead, it's on the house." So all the cars, from Mater's new deputies to the slowest cars in town to the rushing visitors, all settled down and took time to enjoy Radiator Springs and the beautiful day. The end. That story was so cool. Tessa, did you like it?
Yeah!
All this reading is making me hungry. What do you say we race to the kitchen and grab some snacks?
Yeah!
Thanks everyone for joining us today. See you next time.
Bye!
Hey!
And the story today is Rammin' Slammin' Relay. Let's check out what Lightning's up to. Rammin' Slammin' Relay. "Whoa, flashy," Ramon exclaimed, looking at the bright neon lights of Motoropolis City. "This place is amazing," Lightning said. "I love the challenge of racing in a city. I just know we can win this." Lightning and Ramon were representing the fabulous Hudson Hornet Academy in a relay race. They were going up against Chick Hicks and a student from his racing school named Stinger. "I know what will help us win," said Ramon. He took Lightning to a body shop he had set up in a tent. "Check it out, a glow-in-the-dark paint job, decked out in this we'll really be able to see tonight." Lightning knew there were lights all over the city to show them the way, but he didn't want to dampen Ramon's enthusiasm. "Okay," he said, "paint me up, Ramon." Meanwhile, across town, Chick Hicks was working on his team's strategy. They were going to cheat, but he warned Stinger not to let the judges catch them, or they'd be disqualified. "And I don't want you to take Lightning out of just this race," Chick barked as Stinger practiced his famous ramming move. "I want you to take him out for good." That night, the air in Motoropolis City was filled with excitement. Ramon and Chick cruised to the starting line for the first leg of the relay. When they reached Breakaway Tunnel, they would tag their partners. Then Lightning and Stinger would race the second leg to the finish line. An official waved the starting flag. They were off. Chick immediately crowded Ramon toward a building, but Ramon used his super hydraulics to lift himself high above the race car. Chick slid underneath Ramon and smash hit the brick himself. As Ramon took the lead, Stinger appeared and dumped a load of bolts in the road. He wasn't even supposed to be in the race yet. 4 flats coming up, Chick thought. But Ramon's heavy-duty tires sailed right over the mess. Chick wasn't so lucky. He hit every single bolt. "I've got to make a pit stop," Chick told Stinger angrily. "Do whatever it takes to slow him down." A little while later, Ramon saw a roadblock ahead and screeched to a stop. Stinger had struck again. Ramon had no choice but to detour off into a maze of one-way streets. Soon he was hopelessly lost. Then a miracle. Ramon glanced down a long street and saw a breakaway tunnel in the distance. He hit the gas. "Hang on, Lightning," he cried. "I'm coming." Suddenly, Chick zoomed up next to Ramon and pushed him against a warehouse. Ramon had nowhere to go but up the ramp to the building's loading dock. Thinking quickly, he launched himself off. "I love to drive," shouted Ramon. "But when you're short on time, flying is the only way to go." Chick had accidentally helped Ramon get even closer to the relay point. Ramon floored it while Chick blasted out of the side street. Both cars reached breakaway tunnel and tagged their partners at exactly the same time. Lightning was a blur as he entered the tunnel just before Stinger. Seconds later, thanks to Chick, the lights went out. Lightning had to slow down. Without headlights, he couldn't see a thing. Then his eyes adjusted. His new paint job was casting a glow inside the tunnel. "Thank you, Ramon," Lightning cried. Stinger was on Lightning's tail. As they exited the tunnel, he accelerated and rammed into his opponent. Lightning skidded into a big pothole and couldn't get out. "Lucky hit," Lightning yelled. "I'd like to see you do that again." Bam! Stinger hit Lightning so hard that he lurched right out of the hole. "Thanks," Lightning called as he took the lead again. "I couldn't have done it without you." Chick was watching from the sidelines. "I don't care what you have to do. Just cross that finish line first," he yelled at Stinger. Stinger knew what that meant. He left the road and took a shortcut through a parking lot. Pop, 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 pop. All 4 of his tires went flat. Meanwhile, Lightning crossed the finish line to the cheers of his fans. "Ka-chow!" he exclaimed as he posed for the cameras. The best racing school in the world wins again. A little while later, Lightning and Ramon proudly accepted their silver tail fin trophy. "Lightning," said a reporter, "do you have any words of advice for Chick and Stinger?" "Yeah," Lightning said. "Racing the wrong way is never the right thing to do." Well, looks like Lightning and Ramon came out on top over Chick and Stinger. This is Disney's Pixar's Cars 5-minute racing stories, and I hope everyone enjoyed it today. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.
Growing up, I loved watching the Cars movies. Today, I want to read Disney Pixar Cars 5-minute racing stories. Today, the story I'm going to read is called Rematch, so I hope you enjoy it. Rematch. Francesco Bernoulli had challenged Lightning to a race in his hometown, Monza, Italy. "Benvenuto," Francesco said when Lightning arrived. "Your plane was late, but this is no surprise. You'll be late crossing the finish line too." Lightning smiled. Then he turned to his best friend Mater. "I am so beating him, right here on his own turf," he whispered. As the racers left the runway, they were surrounded by photographers. Francesco showed off his right side. He showed off his left side. "Everyone loves Francesco. He has many fans," he told Lightning. "Nobody has more fans than Lightning," Mater piped up. Francesco rolled his eyes. "We will prove it," said Luigi. "Lightning gets hundreds of fan letters each day. Guido, bring the mailbag." Guido zoomed off. He returned a few minutes later with mailbags overflowing with fan letters. Lightning was a little embarrassed. "Oh, it's really not that big of a deal," he said. "It's just a few letters from my fans." "You are right, Lightning," said Francesco. "It is no big deal, because Francesco has much, much more fan mail. You see, everyone loves Francesco." "Letters are great," said Lightning, "but we like to get some fender-to-fender time with our fans whenever we can." Lightning turned and wheeled through the doors to the airport. Outside was a line of fans, just waiting to see him. Lightning greeted the cars. He even stopped to take a picture with each one. Meanwhile, Mater got the fans going. They began chanting, "Lightning, Lightning, Quesco e ridicolo," mumbled Francesco. "And what about autographs?" he asked. "Watch and be amazed." Francesco started spinning his wheels. Hundreds of autographed photos of himself flew behind him onto the windshields of his waiting fans. See, Francesco always gets things done at 300 kilometers an hour. After the 2 racers finished greeting their fans, they drove to a cafe. "Hey, Mr. Francesco, nobody drinks oil faster than Lightning," said Mater. "What?" said Lightning. "Mater, I can't drink. Come on, buddy. Show 'em what I done taught you," said Mater. Lightning sighed and managed to finish a can of oil in a few gulps. Francesco was not impressed. "Francesco never guzzles," he said. "Oil should be savored." Lightning cruised over to Francesco. "How about a warm-up for the big race? Just you and me?" he asked. Francesco nodded. "Ah, good idea, Lightning. Try to keep up. Before Francesco could finish, Lightning was a red streak down the road. "Ka-chow, Francesco," yelled Lightning. Francesco had almost caught up with Lightning when he nearly spun out on a left turn. "How do you make those left turns so well?" Francesco asked. "Get equipped with some treaded tires," said Lightning. "Then turn right to go left. A very good friend taught me that once." Soon the race car stopped to rest. Francesco sighed. "Ah, Italia is beautiful, no? Just like Francesco." Lightning chuckled. "Do you always think about yourself?" he asked. "Of course," said Francesco. "On the racetrack, Francesco only thinks about himself and doing his best. This is why he always wins." The next day was the big race. Finally, the world would find out who was the fastest race car. When the flag dropped, the fans went wild. Francesco came out of the first left turn ahead of Lightning. He showed off his new treaded tires. Perhaps Lightning has taught Francesco too well. As Lightning zoomed into the Monza arena, he got distracted by the camera flashes and the screaming fans. Suddenly, he remembered what Francesco had said. Lightning looked straight ahead, he blocked out the photographers and the fans, focused on his performance, and quickly took the lead. As the two cars crossed the finish line, the crowd gasped. "Ka-chow!" yelled Lightning. "I won!" "You mean ciao bella," said Francesco. "Francesco won." The truth stunned everyone. According to the judges, the race was a tie. That evening, the cars tried to figure out what to do. How could they award a trophy when there had been no winner? Then Francesco shouted, "No more talk. Talk is slow. What do? We race." "That's a great idea," said Lightning. "We'll race in Radiator Springs." Then the two fastest cars in the world zoomed away together to race again another day. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I know I'm looking forward to the next rematch. See you guys out on the track.
Disney Pixar Cars, The Spooky Sound. Lightning McQueen and Mater like to tell spooky stories. Their friends are scared, but Mater and Lightning are not. Lightning and Mater drive home. Ooh! They hear a spooky sound. They want to find out what it is. Lightning and Mater drive by Ramon's paint shop. Ooh! Mater sees a scary shape. Is it a monster? Lightning goes into the shop. He finds paint cans. He tells Mater there is no monster. They drive by Doc's shop. It is open late. Ooh! The sound is louder. They see sparks and flames. Is it a fire monster? Mater is scared, but there is no fire monster. Doc is fixing Sarge. The cars drive to Casadella Tires. Ooh! The sound is closer. Mater sees a creepy shape. Is it a monster with two heads? Lightning finds tall piles of tires. Luigi and Guido are having a sale. Mater and Lightning drive into the desert. Ooh! Mater sees a light in the sky. Is it a monster that glows? Lightning spots Aloft. He is taking a night flight. Lightning and Mater keep driving. Ooh! The sound is right behind them! Mater is really scared. Lightning wants to find the sound. He turns around very slowly. The spooky sound is not a monster. It does not have fire. It does not have two heads. It does not glow. It is Sheriff. He is driving in his sleep. Lightning and Mater laugh and laugh. They are not afraid. But then they see two glowing eyes. Oh no, what is it? They do not want to find out.